Well, you would have had a video about us doing Will's van, but it's Will's van, so it's Will's content. But I will tell you this, we fitted an ice heater.
Failed.
Oh, completely failed. We spent, probably wasted a whole day.
Day and a half.
Day and a half, yeah. And it wouldn't work. We had error code E8, E10, E8, E9, E7. Just so we've come to the conclusion, and we've tried everything before everyone starts doing the keyboard mechanic. We've tried everything. Go and watch Will's video on Sunday. He needs help with the views, so we're giving him a push on our massive channel. But yeah, we failed. So, but we've done a few other things. Added a switch, put a light up.
I like my switches though.
Made him a letterbox. He's got a letterbox, so go and watch his video. But today, he's pissing off, and we're either gonna.
What are you doing?
We're gonna fit some lights. It's time for a light upgrade, and he's very jealous.
I am.
But if he'd replied to the email from the company, then we'd have had them. But he didn't, did he?
I'm gonna get onto them.
No.
And then I'll be back up here for you to fit it, or we to fit it.
So go to his channel and watch the shenanigans that's happened over the last few days. Right, let's go and grab some lights on Chuck Emma on the roof, and I'll see you.
Gracias, amigo.
In about a month.
Yeah.
Let's go. It's a bit of a monster. It's 52 inches wide. It's the Auxbeam 5D Pro. First of all, we need to get this mounted using the mountain brackets that come with the actual kit. We're going to get that on the roof, and then we can get the gland up that we fitted so we can wire up. Right, let's put this together. So it does come with all the necessary stuff for you to actually mount it to the actual vehicle. We're going to be using these mounts here, and basically what these do is there's a gap right in the middle there, and these slot into the gap and then push along either side. You get one there and one this side. Then once you've got them in, then you get these little grommet screws which will just fasten into the actual unit itself. And then they will lock the actual clamps down to the unit. But we're not going to tighten them up all the way because we don't know how we're going to mount it on the roof. So we need to know the distances between. I could go measure it, but you know yourself, once you get up there, everything changes just a little bit. So rather than mess around, see, that locks that into place. So we're just going to leave them a little bit loose. And then when you get on top, they then mount with these plates which just go in there like that, which allow the unit to swivel. They go in with one of these, which is just an Allen key bolt, which will just go straight through there and then straight into there. And then once we've got them two on the actual light, then we can get it on the roof of the van. There's the yellow one. We can change the yellow one out. The yellow one is a lot smaller. It's about 10 inches smaller than this one, so I think that's 42 inches. This one's 52, so big difference. Right, first of all, I want to put a hat on. Darren's merch, just saying. We need to get up there, and we need to get these ones off, unmounted, so we can put the new ones on top. So we'll do that first. Oh God, this is the Will effect. Right, next thing we need to do is undo this gland so we can get this cable pulled through, and then we can connect a new light to the existing wires that are on the wiring loom, because there's nothing wrong with them. and they'll all work fine, and it's only a positive and negative going to the new light anyway. So let's undo this, get these out, pull this through and go from there. Right, so we got the gland off, we got the cable through, we pulled it through the vehicle a bit, so that's enough for us. Now we're going to cut this so then we can join. All the lights are off, so don't worry, there's nothing. Cut that right there, so we can get those cables out of there. 1, 2, get that off of there, and now this light can go. So that's the old light, that's the new one. It's a bit bigger, a bit thicker, and of a hell of a lot more brighter as well. Right, this one's off. That's going to Sean from Scallon Auto Services. He's going to put that on his truck. So let's get that to him in a minute. This one is going on the roof. Let's get it up there. Up comes the big one. We've come across a problem, and I'll show you what the problem is. We want the actual mounting plate to sit inside there. Now, if we have it lined up above it, it means that the back of the mounting plate is not going to be on the unistrut, which is going to flop. So we've got to fit the end plates now rather than the ones underneath. I didn't want to fit them, but there you go. We can't use those inner brackets, so we're going to have to use these outer brackets which are there. Now I've kind of figured out, and it might just be pure luck, that this bar that the actual light was resting on.
You okay up there?
Got one side mounted. Now we need to see if this side will meet up to the actual light. We got the one bar on there, and we got one bar on that side. What we've done is we've spanned it round so it's actually coming outwards, but we need to bolt the inside down first before we can actually attach it to the light. So we've got that one on. We've got to make sure this one will move up, and then we can probably just bend this in just a little bit. See, there's a tiny bit of a gap, but this will pull over and it'll just give it a bit of a spring, so the whole light will basically work fine. So let's get this one bolted on and then we can wire it up. So we're going to connect these cables via the old-fashioned way of solder, because it works. Right, it's far too cold outside to be soldering. The wire is not getting warm enough for it to solder. If you didn't know, the way solder works is that the solder heats up the wire and then it melts onto the wire. If you can't get the wire warm enough, the solder basically won't stick. So we'll try solder tubes, put them over, heat them up, that'll close it all together and keep them safe. Right, that was a bit of a faff. So got the gland all back in, all wired up, that's mounted, it's mounted onto the sides. Now I think we've got another one to do before we test it. Or do we test it? Let's test it. Now I'm going to say that's a success, but we won't know until the night time, so have to wait till dark. But we've got another one to fit, so let's go. You do need yellow light as well. When you're in mist and when you're in fog, white light makes everything just bright, which is stupid. So yellow light cuts through the actual spectrum of the fog and makes things brighter without blinding you. Turn the torch on in the fog, you'll see what I mean. Put yellow light on in the fog, you'll be able to see. Don't ask me why, it's just science, bitch.
Yes, science!
But we're going to replace that one. And what are we going to replace it with? We're going to replace it with this one. This one does many things. It does white light, it does yellow light, it does white strobe, it does yellow strobe, it does white and yellow strobe. We've got to get this wiring loom through as well, because it does have a mode switch. And look, it's got its own built-in relay. So it'll be double relayed. Is that double safe? I don't know. Possibly, who knows? But anyway, we've got a relay on the switch, and we've also got a relay on the wine loom as well. Right, let's fit this boy. This one I'm looking forward to, because we've had it on in the house and ooh, shiny. We've got the light mounted. Now we've got to pull the wine loom through. With ours it's not so bad, because we had the light there before. It just means that we can reroute through. We've just got to basically organise this in the cab, because this part has got to go through to the light, because you've got negative, positive, and then you've got a mode. So let's hope that the wire is long enough to go to the actual inside of the cab. Also, if you wanted to, because it's got a relay on it built in, you can just connect that to your pos and neg on your battery, and because the relay is on there, that keeps the system not alive until you press the button. Also, you get a good length on the actual button as well. I don't know whether I'm going to bother with our switches in the van. I don't know whether I'm going to wire up to them. It just seems pretty stupid, because we've got an on and off there and a mode switch on the button. So I might just mount this on the dashboard and not have the switch on the switch panel. I can imagine Emma's face right now going, more lights, no. So yeah, we'll just have to see how we go on with this. Get it wired in, get it all through, and get it wired into the light. Then we'll tackle the inside bit. So I'm going to pass the wire through, connect it all up to the light, and go from there. So there's the old wire. I'm going to try and pull this through now. I've attached the other wire to it, and as luck has it, there we go. The cable. So now that we pull the cable through, we can just feed it down there, connect it up to the light, and that is this end all complete. Then it's in the cab. We've now just got to get these cables right the way through over to there in the dashboard, and I am going to connect them up to the switch, just as another fail-safe and another form of basic safety. It just means that there's another fused part on the switch where if anything goes wrong, you're covered. And then I've got to find somewhere to mount this. Don't know where I'm putting it, but we'll find somewhere. Won't be hard, will it? Right, so I've mounted the actual button control box there. I'm going to do away with this big plug, because there's no real reason to have this on, and there's nothing wrong with just cutting it off and then soldering the correct wires to each other, which will be there. So we've got red to red, black to black, white to white, yellow to blue. You can't go wrong. Just make sure that you cut them all before the plug, so you can see actually which wires connect to which. And then once they're connected up, we can then test the lights. So let's go from there. We've connected all the cables up there. All we're going to do now is pull the heat shrink down and then get them all nice and safely and secure together. They're all in with heat shrink wraps, which have got solder in, so they're not going anywhere and they're not going to come undone. Get this piece of heat shrink right over the four of them. And right over the other cable. So it's over both cables and it's over the actual connections as well. Take our heat gun, get them all shrunk together. Right, so now this is tidy, we just got to put this cable away and just get this somewhere out the way so it's not going to drop down. Get some cable ties underneath, and yeah, that's it, job done. Test the lights.